Well, hi everyone, this is Grace of gbmaltese, and I hope you are doing finer than frogs hair. It has been a hot minute since I've been on here. I've been having a few issues with my back, and yeah, sitting has been a little bit of a problem. But I've been doing my back exercises like I should be doing every day, but you know, when it feels better, it's like, I don't need to do that, so you just don't do it. Well, bad mistake on my part. But it hadn't been bothering me for so long, but I spend a lot of times wearing my tinge unit, which is, it gives electric shock to the areas that are hurting. It's got little patches and you stick it on to you, yeah. When you know, when I say I had a pain in the butt, I really did. it was no fun. But it's feeling much better today. I've been doing the exercises, I guess 3 days in a row now, and yeah, it seems to be feeling some better, so I gotta keep doing that. Let me show you what I'm working on, because I started something new. This is from Diamond Art Club, and this is called the Wells of Salvation. Now, I've already done the bottom part. I'm probably up to maybe this area. I've done that much on the bottom, which I will show you later. Right now, I'm working on the top part, and I have it upside down, so this is what you're looking at. I always start in the bottom right. That's just how I do it. You know, there's no right or wrong way to do diamond painting. You do what makes you happy and is most comfortable for you. It's supposed to be a fun hobby, not where you have to say, someone tells me, oh, you need to do it like this. No, you do it the way you want. It makes you happy. Now, I do use my silicone release papers to lay my hand on when I've got sticky parts. One side is dull, one side is bright. You want the bright, shiny side down. If you can't remember, I just put a sticker. I used to, but now I pretty much remember most of the time after, you know, because it will stick on there. I'll show you. When you put it on there backwards, it's harder to get it off. When you put it on the right way, yeah, that's what you want. And this will keep you from getting your hand off into the sticky part. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things to use are my release papers, silicone release papers, and I have them listed in my Amazon store down below. So I thought I would just do a little whip and chat with you guys, since I'm able to sit here without a whole lot of pain and can think, and you know, I can talk. I can talk a little bit now while I'm painting, and you know, not be going, oh. So I wanted to talk to you some about some movies I have watched. My husband and I are really into watching the classics, and I mean like movies that were made, mostly the ones we like are in the 40s and 50s. There are a few in the 60s, but not a lot, and just in a few in the 30s. There are a few. If they're real old, sometimes the picture quality is not as good, so. But we watched one called The Witness for the Prosecution about a couple of weeks ago, and it's not the first time we've watched that movie. That movie is fantastic. If you can find that one, sometimes they have it on just regular YouTube. You can type in Witness for the Prosecution full movie, and sometimes you will get the movie and you can watch it. We have YouTube TV, which we pay for monthly. It's got several different channels, and it's got TCM on it, which is Turner Classic Movies. and it's got AMC and some other ones. So that's where we found Witness for the Prosecution. And like I said, we've watched it before, but I forgot just how good it was. It has Charles Lofton in it. For those of you who are familiar with actors back in the day, he played the Hunchback in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he's played in other movies. He's a fantastic actor. I don't know, I find that a lot of the classic movies, it seems like the acting was so much more important than some of the movies today, because you've got all this action going on in a lot of the movies you watch now. Well, they didn't have all of that back in the day. And I think that this movie might have been in the 50s. But it's about, I don't want to tell you the whole story, but I want to kind of get you into what it's about. There's a man, and he is being convicted for murder. And it started out that he was walking down the street, and he saw this older lady in a hat shop trying on a hat. And he was looking in the window, and this lady turns to him and looks at him, and she kind of smiles at him, and he shakes his head no to one hat she's got on. And then she puts another one on, and she looks back, and he's still standing there watching, and you know, he shakes his head yes, you know, like that's the right hat. So she gets that hat, and when she comes out, they start talking and become really good friends. They'll go to the movies together, and he'll visit her at her house. And well, he does have a wife, and his wife was from another country, because he met her when he was in the war. I think it was probably World War II era, and so he fell in love with that woman, and he married her, and they were just so much in love. Anyway, one day this older lady is murdered, and the police have no idea who it could be, but he has been seen with this older lady in different places, and her housekeeper, who didn't really like him a whole lot, she said, I know, he's the one who did it. I heard voices and la 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 while she was on the stand. And then Charles Lofton, who is this outstanding lawyer, he talks in a normal voice, and she can't hear him. So he says, okay, you can't hear what I'm saying, but you are telling me that you could recognize the voices you heard on the other side of the door, and you don't hear very well, but you know for positive that it was them, and that the TV was also on. And that kind of blew her testimony out of the water. People didn't believe it. Now, during this time, Charles Lofton was not going to take the case, because he had just been having heart problems, and the doctor had told him he does not need to try any more cases. He needs to take a vacation, he needs to take a break. But after he hears about this trial, he's like, yeah, I'm in. Because he is known as one of the best of the best. But what is so funny is he has a nurse who is staying at his home, and she's telling him what he needs to do and get his medication to him when he's supposed to. And that is, it has some very humorous parts in that. She says, you need to go lay down and take a nap, and he'll go upstairs, and she turns her back, and he sneaks back down the stairs again. And what is, I think, amusing is that the woman that's playing Lofton's wife, a nurse, is his actual wife in real life. They do such a good job playing against each other. And they were married for many, many years until Lofton died. So you don't see that happen very often. Most marriages, a lot of marriages don't last in Hollywood. So I just found it interesting to watch those two interact. It was funny. But this movie had the biggest twist at the end. I did not see it coming. And I'm not going to tell you anything about the twist. It would ruin the whole movie for you. But if you want to watch something that is, I found it highly entertaining and kept you on the edge of your seat, not sheet, kept you on the edge of my seat, trying to figure out what was going to happen next. Now, if you've watched this movie, please don't put the ending down below. In fact, in the movie, after the movie is over, there is some words that come up on the screen saying, please do not reveal the ending of this movie to others and ruin that pleasure for them. So, I always hate for someone to tell me the ending of a movie I have not seen. And I have had someone do that to me before, and it made me so mad. Nothing I could do about it, but yeah, it was not very nice. Don't tell me the endings, especially when you're not expecting it. So that is one movie that I have watched that I really did enjoy. But if you have a chance to see it and haven't seen it, that might be one you might be interested in. Very interesting court case. It's not based on a true story as far as I know. I don't know everything, and I don't remember it being part of a true crime. But it was so interesting. Very good. I'm trying to think who else played in the movie. Gosh, because there are several famous actors, and Tyrone Powers. He is the guy that is up for the murder. That's who it was. He does such a good job. Lofton, superb. Everyone in there did such a good job in this movie. I can't think of one actor. It was just an all-star cast. It was very, very good. Another movie I've watched. Now this one is really weird. If you like watching things that are truly kind of, way out there, The Bad Seed is a movie about a little girl who is awful. I'm talking, she's a bad seed. That's where they got the name for that movie. And you end up just really not liking this girl. I don't want to tell too much about what goes on in the movie, but again, another fantastic cast. The girl who played that part, she was amazing. The mother, it's all just fabulous. It's just such a good movie. But she, spoiled rotten is one thing. But you can't really see that maybe that the parents had a lot to do with spoiling her. She was just a bad seed. And they talk about some inherited things that come along with some people who have these problems. And you're going to find out a very interesting mystery during this movie. Her dad is a military man, so he is gone some of the time. He has to go to Washington, and so his wife and daughter stay at home. And his wife is starting to notice more and more that their daughter is not being very nice. She goes to a school, I don't know if it's a public school, whatever, but they're having a picnic that day. And on that picnic, all the kids were there, and they ate lunch there, and they got to play around, and there was a lake on that picnic. Well, this little girl, can't think of her name now, I'll just call her the bad seed. Well, the bad seed, she did not like to lose at anything. She wanted to be number one at all times. And they had a penmanship award, and she didn't get it. She was, I guess, like second place, and this little boy won the penmanship award, so he got this little pen. You don't ever see the pen or what it looks like, but she is so mad that he got that pen and she didn't get it. She said that it wasn't fair. She even told her mom. She was so upset. So, anyway, they go to this picnic, and during the picnic, you don't see any of this take place. You hear it being told as part of the movie. But the little boy who had won that award, just a sweet little boy, you never meet him, but you just hear how other people talk about him. And this little girl wants him to give her the pen. You only hear this through stories that you hear them telling. Well, during this picnic, a very tragic event takes place. The little boy drowns during this picnic, and they are trying to find out what happened. How did he drown? And they're questioning everyone, and no one is able to say what happened. No one saw anything. They question the little blonde-headed sweet girl, the bad seed, and she's, very innocent. She's saying, I don't know. I saw him going down to the pier walking, she said, but I don't know what happened. So the movie goes on trying to figure out this case, and then you find out a lot of interesting things about the little blonde. Yes, some things that I would never have thought. So it's, again, that's another edge on, sitting on the edge of your seat movie. It was really good. How many of you enjoy watching classic movies like this? If you've got some that you really like, put some of them down below. Maybe I can hunt them down and watch them. Some of the movies that I like the most, I like thrillers, I like noir movies, those are more of the crime, and a lot of times it has a strong woman character in it. There was a movie, Double Indemnity. I don't know if any of you have seen that one, with Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck. That was another good movie. I don't want to go into all of the details on that one. I think I've probably bored you enough telling you about the other movies, but I find them fun to watch, interesting. I like movies like that kind of make you have to think. You're guessing part of the time, so I like mysteries. I do like some comedies. There have been some I've watched that were good, as long as they're not just, all slapstick. I like to have some kind of a plot in the movie, and my husband especially does. So, I've got just so many different movies that we've watched that I've really enjoyed. If you want me to talk about more that I've watched, just comment down below. Let me know if you've watched any that were just, you thought were just outstanding and, you know, very memorable. Of course, you know, I like Gone with the Wind. My husband, he doesn't care about watching it. He's not as into that one as I am. Excuse me. Of course, The Wizard of Oz is a classic in itself. But there's so many movies back in the day. And if there's some more modern movies that are... I don't like to watch movies with tons of sex scenes. I don't need that. I already know what happens in that, you know. So, it's not, you know, that I don't need to see it. You know, leave something to the imagination. I don't need to see, you know, naked bodies and all that kind of stuff. And I don't like to hear a lot of really raunchy talking, like using really bad curse words. The one curse word that will turn a movie off for me right away is when they use GD. We usually turn the movie off because I don't know, I find it blasphemous and it just turns me off. So some people, you know, they just skim right over it and that kind of thing. But my husband is especially very upset with that. I mean, I am too. I don't care to listen to it. We don't say that. That's just something that it's not necessary. And there are some movies that use mild profanity. That's not so bad. But when almost every sentence contains profanity, that's not necessary. It does to me, it doesn't add one thing to the movie or to the plot. So if you know of any movies that don't have all that kind of garbage in it, that are maybe more modern, then yeah, I like to watch those. I mean, yeah, I watched Grease, and I like Pride and Prejudice. There are a few different versions of Pride and Prejudice. I can't remember which one that I watched that I liked so much. As I said, there's several versions of it. And then, I'm trying to think. Other movies that are more modern. I haven't been to the movie theater in ages. I did go with my daughter. This is back before we were, you know, in the pandemic. Sorry, my camera cut off. Back before the pandemic, I went and watched a movie with my daughter. I can't even remember which movie it was. What was it? Darn it. I can't remember. It's been a while. You know, I've slept a few times since then. Oh, but another thing that is kind of cool is on Amazon, if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch movies. You can buy the movie or rent it. It's actually cheaper to go ahead and buy it. New movies that are playing at the theater at the same time. Because my daughter and I, we watched the last installment of Downton Abbey. It was a movie that was out on the theater. And what we did is we got on the phone together. She bought her version of the movie and I bought mine. And we watched it together while we were each on the phone, because she's many miles from where I live. And that was kind of fun. We, you know, could talk about the movie a little bit if we wanted to. Mostly we were just quiet and then talked about it afterwards. But to rent it was, I think, $19 and something. And to buy it was $24. And I'm like, You know, for $5 more, I might as well just own the movie and I can watch it again. Because I've watched every season of Downton Abbey. Anybody else out there watch Downton Abbey? I loved that series. That was, I think you can see all of them on Prime if you have a Prime Amazon account. And I'm not sure if they're showing it anywhere else. I do Google searches all the time to find movies or something else that I want to maybe watch. I'll type it in and it'll come up with different things. Sometimes you have to rent it, and then other times it'll show that it's on YouTube. You know, regular YouTube, you can watch the whole movie. So you just kind of have to get on there and play around with it. But it's kind of cool. Or you can just do a search on YouTube. When you go to YouTube, just type in the name of a movie and put full movie, because you want to watch the whole thing. Some of them just have the trailer. If it shows that the movie is 3 minutes long, well, you know that's just a trailer. It's not the movie. I've had my little air conditioner on in here the whole time. I hope that didn't just make too much noise. I just now realized it. But goodness sakes, it's so hot here in Texas. We'll be at 99 degrees and it will, or 98, and it'll show that it's 115, 117 feel like temperature outside because of all the humidity. So it has not been pleasant. And I saw next week we're going to have temperatures of 102. Pretty much all week. I'm like, oh goody. What is that going to be? 120 feel like? So you can't, I mean, it warns you not to go outside. We don't just have heat warnings. When we have temperatures like that, we get the extreme heat warning. Do not go out unless it is absolutely necessary. And if you do have to be outside, make sure you wear light colored clothing, loose clothing, drink lots of water, and find time to go into a air-conditioned area or be in the shade or something to get you out of there. Because heat stroke is a big deal around here, and it's dangerous. Very dangerous. If you don't get treated pretty quick, you're not going to make it. So it's scary. So yeah, the heat, and gosh, I hope that didn't just make a whole bunch of noise and ruin my whole video. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna listen to it after I get finished and listen back and see how bad it was. I had turned it on just to try to cool things down in here for me before I started recording. My husband went ahead and put a smaller unit in here because when you turn the big unit on, it wastes a lot of electricity. So we have our big air conditioning unit, and we'll leave it usually at 80 degrees, but we have smaller window units in different rooms, and you can turn them off or turn them on as you're in those rooms, and it cools you off real quick when you do that. So unless you want to pay, you know, $300 and $400 or $500 a month for electricity, it gets so expensive because the heat is so bad. And well, you know, everything has gone up in price, so who knows what it's going to be this summer. So I know some of you up north are getting some hot weather. Some of you are hotter than normal, but I just saw that Texas we're breaking all kinds of records for the month of June. Just hot. And I know it's just pitiful because I love to be able to go outside and go for walks and things. Well, no. There's no doing that. You'll be sweating by the time you walk maybe 100 feet. Oh, for Pete's sakes. That's just how it is. And if you have allergy or breathing problems, yeah, it's just no fun. But let's get off of that. That's not that much fun to talk about. But yeah, if you would let me know below some movies that maybe are some of your favorites, or tell me if you've seen Witness for the Prosecution, or The Bad Seed, or Double Indemnity. Have any of you seen The Heiress? I've talked about that one before. I love that one too. That's got Olivia de Havilland in it, and she was fabulous in there. I think she did win an Oscar for that movie. So good. Just really. But there were so many good actors and actresses back in that time period. I mean, I wasn't alive during the time that those movies were around, so I guess I'm just an old soul. I don't know. Or maybe I just like good acting, or that time period. I don't know. I'm not saying that I would want to live during that time period. I like my comforts that I have in my home. I do. I just wish, you know, we kind of were back to a simpler time than we are right now. I mean, when I think about when my daughter was born, that was in the 80s. And when she was growing up, we didn't have, you know, all the cell phones. You didn't have to worry about them on, you know, screen time, and them not getting outside and getting exercise or fresh air. Because when you're younger, you can take the heat a lot better. I remember being out in the heat, and it didn't bother me at all. The older you get, I guess the worse it is. I don't know. But yeah, things have just changed. You just worry so much that someone's going to grab your child, take off with them. You're afraid to let them play out in the front yard, that someone will come by and grab them. It's just sad. So, you know, maybe it's been that way all the time, and we just see more of it because you get on the internet and you see everything. I mean, you see stuff that you probably wish you might not have seen. I just feel bad for the kids these days. It was really bad during the pandemic. Those poor kids couldn't go out and do anything. And yeah, you know, their only source of entertainment would have been their phone, computer, whatever, because they couldn't go out and be with friends and that kind of thing. So that was a tough period of time. It's hard to believe that we went through that. Sometimes I think about it and it was like, did that really happen, or did I dream it? It was just weird. I mean, do any of you feel that way? It was just odd. The whole thing was just odd. So much tension and contention between people. But I don't want to get into that stuff. I do not like talking about politics and that kind of thing. Everyone has their opinions and ideas, and I just don't think that, well, in my view, there's not a perfect person, because we're human, and there's not a perfect person. So we just have to deal with what we have, I guess, and pray for the best. Trying to think of what else has been going on. Not a whole lot, especially with my back being just kind of out of whack. I hate it when that happens. My sister, I was talking to her on yesterday, and I talked to her a couple of days before that. She was having problems with her knee. And then it seemed to be getting better. It was just her right knee. It was swelling. My sister's very thin. And so her knee was swelling. She said it didn't hurt, but it felt, she could feel like it was liquid. It almost felt squishy. She said that she knew that if she tried to squat down, that she thought her knee might just blow out, you know, with the fluids. Well, then, so she was wearing an ace bandage wrapped tightly around her knee and icing it and doing all this stuff. She doesn't know what she might have done. It could have been anything. And so it was feeling better, and she told me, you know, it was doing so much better. Well, I talked to her yesterday, and now it's both knees. Both knees are swollen, so she's going to let the doctor check it because she wants to know what she needs to do to get over this. I mean, we're just hoping and praying no surgery is involved. She's the kind of person, she takes good care of herself. She does better than I do. She's always been worried about putting on weight and that kind of thing, and me, I'm like, ice cream? Yeah, let me have some. Yeah, ice cream is my weakness. Do any of y'all have a weakness? I'm telling you, it's tough, but I've started just getting frozen yogurt bars, and they're 100 calories a piece. So if I eat 2 of them, that's 200 calories, which is better than me getting a carton of ice cream, and one serving is 250, 300 calories, and you know, I eat 3 or 4 servings because, you know, your serving size is about like this. It's just a little bitty bit, and I'm like, that isn't enough. So I finally, I said, I just cannot buy cartons of ice cream anymore. It's like, I'm addicted. You know, once I get started eating it, it's like, oh, it's so good. I just can't stop eating it. Yeah, I do have a diamond painting. I guess I should do one day. And it's the Ice Cream Queen. And if you've been with me for a really long time, you've seen me unbox that one. It was from Die Moon Shop. And yeah, when I saw that, it was like, I gotta have that one. I am the Ice Cream Queen. I know I'm not the only one, but... And my husband, he can go and eat a small little portion of it. And then he's finished. He doesn't have to have any more. Well, my battery is flashing, so I guess it's my thing to tell me, get off of here, Grace. So you know what, guys? I'm going to let you go. I love you. Thank you for watching. If you watched me to the end, give me a thumbs up. Love you guys. God bless you. Take care of yourselves. Bye.